Imagine for a moment that there exists a single amulet, small enough to fit in your palm, yet powerful enough to change the direction of your entire life. An object that does not rely on magic tricks or illusions, but on something far deeper: belief, intention, and the hidden strength of the human mind. Today's story is about that one amulet said to turn failure into success, not by bending reality, but by awakening something within the person who carries it. For centuries, across different cultures and civilizations, people have believed in talismans and amulets. Some were carved from stone, some forged from metal, others made of wood, bone, or simple thread. Kings carried them into battle, travelers wore them on long journeys, and ordinary people kept them close during times of hardship. Among all these objects, one particular amulet became legendary, not because of how it looked, but because of what it represented. It was known as the Amulet of Turning, a symbol of transformation, resilience, and inner power. The story begins with a young man who seemed to be followed by failure wherever he went. Every business he started collapsed. Every opportunity he touched slipped through his fingers. People around him slowly stopped believing in him, and eventually, he stopped believing in himself. His days were filled with regret, and his nights with questions that had no answers. He wondered why success always seemed to choose others and never him. One evening, while wandering through an old marketplace, he noticed a small shop hidden between two broken buildings. The sign above the door was faded, and the windows were covered in dust. Something pulled him inside. Behind the counter sat an elderly man with calm eyes and a gentle smile, as if he had been waiting for him. Without asking any questions, the old man reached under the counter and placed a small amulet on the table. The amulet was simple: no jewels, no shine, no obvious value. Just a circular piece of metal with an unusual symbol engraved on it. The old man said only one thing: "This amulet does not remove failure. It teaches you how to walk through it." Confused but curious, the young man bought the amulet and left, unsure whether he had just wasted his last bit of money. At first, nothing changed. The amulet did not glow, did not whisper secrets, did not magically solve his problems. Days passed, and life continued exactly as before. Disappointed, he almost threw it away. But one night, while holding the amulet in his hand, he noticed something strange. The symbol on it seemed to remind him of a path, one that twisted, broke, and then continued forward. For the first time, he realized something he had never accepted before: failure was not an ending. It was part of the journey. From that day on, the amulet became a daily reminder. Every time something went wrong, instead of asking, "Why me?" he asked, "What is this teaching me?" Slowly, his mindset began to shift. He stopped fearing mistakes and started studying them. He stopped comparing himself to others and focused on improving one small thing each day. The amulet did not change the world around him, it changed the way he responded to the world. This is the true secret behind the amulet that turns failure into success. It works on the mind, not through superstition, but through symbolism. Humans have always used symbols to focus their thoughts. A wedding ring symbolizes commitment. A flag symbolizes identity. An amulet symbolizes intention. When you believe that an object represents resilience, growth, and strength, your mind begins to align with those ideas. Psychologists call this the power of anchoring. When you associate a physical object with a strong belief or emotional state, your brain learns to access that state. Whenever you see or touch the object, the amulet becomes a trigger, a reminder that you have survived failure before and can do it again. Over time, this changes your behavior, your decisions, and ultimately, your results. The young man's life did not transform overnight. Success came slowly, step by step. He failed again, many times. But each failure felt different now. It no longer crushed him. Instead, it shaped him. He learned patience, discipline, and consistency. He learned that success is not a sudden reward, but a long process built on lessons learned from mistakes. Years later, the same man returned to the marketplace. This time, he was confident, calm, and fulfilled. His business was stable, his mind was clear, and his life finally felt aligned. He searched for the old shop, wanting to thank the man who had sold him the amulet. But the shop was gone, as if it had never existed. In its place was an empty space, silent and ordinary. That was when he understood the final truth. The amulet was never about the metal or the symbol. It was about readiness. It appeared in his life when he was ready to change the way he saw failure. The real power was always inside him. Even today, People talk about this amulet, not as a magical object, but as a concept. Anyone can create their own version. It could be a pendant, a ring, a bracelet, or even a small stone kept in the pocket. What matters is the meaning you give it. When you decide that an object represents your refusal to give up, your commitment to learn, and your belief in growth, it becomes powerful. Failure is something everyone experiences, but not everyone understands. Most people see failure as proof that they are not good enough. In reality, failure is proof that you tried, and trying is the only path to success. The amulet reminds its bearer of this truth during moments of doubt, fear, and exhaustion. Think about the most successful people in history. Entrepreneurs who went bankrupt before building empires. Athletes who lost countless times before winning championships. Artists who were rejected over and over before being recognized. None of them avoided failure. They learned how to move through it. The amulet symbolizes this exact principle, the ability to transform setbacks into stepping stones. There is also a spiritual side to the amulet. Many traditions believe that intention carries energy. When you wear or carry something with clear intention, it acts as a focus point for your thoughts and actions. Every time you touch it, you reinforce that intention. Over time, this repetition strengthens your mindset, just like training strengthens muscles. The amulet does not promise an easy life. It does not remove pain, struggle, or disappointment. Instead, it offers something far more valuable, the strength to continue when things are hard. It reminds you that failure is temporary, but giving up can be permanent. If you were to create your own amulet today, the first step would be reflection. Ask yourself what failure has taught you so far. What patterns do you need to break? What fears do you need to face? Then choose an object that feels meaningful to you. Hold it, and decide what it represents. Not luck, not shortcuts, but growth, resilience, and persistence. Every time you face rejection, loss, or delay, return to that symbol. Let it remind you that success is not about never falling, it is about always standing back up. Over time, you may notice something surprising. The more you rely on the amulet, the less you need it. Because the belief it represents becomes a part of who you are. In the end, the greatest amulet is the one that teaches you to trust yourself. To believe that no matter how many times you fail, you have the ability to learn, adapt, and move forward. When that belief becomes unshakable, success is no longer a question of if, but when. So remember this story whenever life feels heavy and progress feels slow. Somewhere between failure and success lies a lesson waiting to be learned. And sometimes, all it takes to unlock that lesson is a small reminder in your hand, whispering the truth you already know, that you are stronger than your setbacks, wiser because of your failures, and capable of turning every fall into a step forward.